If you're just nice and agree to everything, people aren't going to respect you. And I learned this the hard way. Back when I was in my 6-figure medical sales job, I was the team's golden retriever. I said yes to everything. I worked late and I never pushed back. And somehow I was still the one being paid less and being talked over in every single meeting. But when I started to co-run my current AI business, I decided that I didn't want that to happen again. I stopped being nice and started doing 5 specific things to make people really take me seriously. And let me tell you, the difference in how people treat me is like night and day. And these are not Pinterest quotes or fake it till you make it nonsense. These are backed by psychology. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through all 5 of them. By the end, you'll know exactly what to do this week to start being treated differently by everyone around you. Picture this. You're in a meeting, your boss asks you a question, and you have no idea what the answer is. Most people would do the same thing in this moment. They'd bluff. They'd throw out some vague corporate jargon that sounds smart but actually means nothing. Or just say, yes, I agree, to avoid looking dumb. But when you try to look perfect, you lose the respect of everyone. Everyone in that room can feel when you're faking it. And the second that they catch it, your credibility is gone. There's actually a study that proves this. A guy named Elliot Arson had a bunch of people watch contestants on a quiz show. In one version, a really smart contestant got 90% of the answers right and then spilled coffee on himself at the end. In another version, the average contestant got less than 50% right and then spilled coffee in the exact same way. But the reaction from people watching was completely different. The people rated the smart guy as more likable after he spilled coffee over himself. However, they rated the average guy as less likable. This is what's called the pratfall effect, which just means that once people see you're competent, admitting one small flaw grants you more respect than not. And there's another great example of this. In 1961, JFK gave the green light to a CIA invasion called the Bay of Pigs, and it was a complete disaster. Over 100 people died and more than 1,000 were captured. He could have blamed the CIA, blamed his advisors, or just denied everything. But instead, what he did is he went on national TV, took responsibility in front of the entire country. And you might think that everyone hated him for it, but his approval ratings actually jumped to 83%. That was the highest of his entire presidency. So here's a simple way on how to apply this principle. Next time you don't know something in a meeting, don't bluff. Just say, I don't know, let me check and get back to you Friday with a full report. What this did and what this will show is that you have enough confidence to admit that you don't know what you don't know, but you're capable of finding out. You can apply this to anything in your life. When I started working on my AI business, I didn't know anything about AI. And when people asked me a question that I couldn't answer, I always said the same thing. I don't know, but I will find out. And that single sentence is what gained everyone's trust over months. And there's one big caveat. This only works if you've already shown you're good at what you do. And if you haven't earned that yet, admitting flaws just confirms what people already suspect. So build a decent amount of respect first, and then let them see that you're human. So admitting that you've made a mistake builds respect. But what you do after is the part that builds even more. So after you admit you don't know, you basically have 2 options. Go home, open up Google AI or YouTube, and try to figure it out yourself at 1 in the morning, or ask the smartest person who's right there. Most people pick option 1 because asking feels like you're confirming that you don't know something. For most of us, that feels really embarrassing, but that fear is exactly what's costing you respect. You see, there was this guy in assembly in Pennsylvania that hated Benjamin Franklin. He talked trash about him and publicly spread rumors. The guy really hated him. But Franklin didn't try to win him over with favors or compliments. Instead, what he did is he sent the guy a note asking if he could borrow a rare book from his library. The guy let him borrow it, and after a few days, Franklin returned it with a thank you note. And the next day, they crossed paths, and the guy who used to hate him was warm and chatty, and even ended up becoming his close friend. In Franklin's words, he that has once done you a kindness will be more ready to do you another than whom you yourself have obliged. This is now what's called the Ben Franklin effect, and it was confirmed in a 1969 study. Basically, this effect says that your brain hates contradictions. So when someone does something nice for you, their brain has to explain why they did it. And the only explanation it can come up with is because they like you and respect you. There's also a study from Harvard Business School that found that people who asked for advice were rated more competent than people who didn't ask. And the harder the task they asked about, the more competent they looked. So when you ask for help in the right way, multiple things happen at once. The person likes you more because you made them feel smart, so they'll start rooting for you because their advice is on the line. And when they see you actually used what you told them, you'll go from someone they're helping to someone they'll brag about. And when the smartest people in the group respect you, getting the respect of the others is the easiest thing ever. So here's how to do it. Pick the smartest person in your circle this week and send them a short message that says something like, hey, I'm working on a specific thing. I know you've done it before and it was great, so I'd love your advice on specific topic. The ask has to be small and specific. Don't ask for your time or coffee chat. Ask one question that makes them feel like an expert and can almost guarantee that they'll be willing to help you. The next move plays the biggest role in whether you get respected or used. And the weird thing is that it has nothing to do with what you say. In 1938, a sociologist did a huge study on dating couples, and he found something pretty wild. Power was almost never equal in any relationship. The person who cared less about keeping the relationship had most control over it. He called this the principle of least interest, which basically is just a fancy way of saying whoever needs it less owns it. And it doesn't just apply to dating. There are two women doing the same job. Both have the same skills and they both want to negotiate a raise. The first person walks in to talk to their boss and ask for 85K, but the boss offers her 72 and she immediately says yes because she doesn't have any other choice. The second woman walks in and asks for 85K. The boss makes the same offer as he did with the other girl, 72K, but this girl doesn't agree. She says, I'll think about it, gets up and leaves. 3 days later, the boss tells her that he can offer her 88K plus an extra week of time off. Both of the girls were equally valuable, but the difference was that one of them was willing to walk away. This works in every single relationship. But don't get me wrong, this isn't about being cold or rude or pretending that you don't care. It's about building that muscle that proves to you that you don't need them. Once you had that, people can feel it and respect you for it. So here's how you build the walkaway muscle. Like every muscle, you need to do the reps every single day. So this week, leave a conversation when it gets disrespectful. Send one message asking for what you actually want, even if you're scared to say no. This time, you'll understand that there's nothing wrong with rejection and that you'll be fine when you walk away. And once your brain believes that, everything around you starts to shift. So when you've got the muscle to walk away, that muscle only works if there's something behind it, because you might think fake it till you make it is the right path of confidence, but in reality, there's a reason most people never feel confident in the first place. Here's something I wish that someone had told me years ago. A psychologist studied what happens when people are at their best. Athletes mid-game, surgeons mid-operation, or artists in the middle of creating. And he found something he called the flow state. When your skill matches the challenge in front of you, you enter the flow state. You feel calm and automatic, and everything feels almost effortless. Like you're not even thinking about what to do because your body just knows. But when your skill level is below the challenge, you feel anxiety. And it's something that's hard to fight because it's something that you don't even control. When you have anxiety, you're not literally thinking, I'm not confident enough. It's your brain telling you, hey, I haven't mastered this thing yet. So when most people try to fake confidence on top of skills they haven't actually built, it just doesn't work. Because everyone can feel when you're faking it. The only way to get real confidence is when you get to the point where you're 100% sure that you can do something. The people who master one specific thing don't need to fake confidence. It becomes automatic and people feel that confidence. And that's why people respect them. So the simple way to get real confidence is pretty simple. Pick one skill or one problem to solve and spend the next 3 months getting unreasonably good at at that one thing. And I mean one thing. When I joined my AI business, I didn't try to be good at everything. Instead of competing with everyone or trying to do a little of everything, I went unreasonably deep on systems and automations. I broke things, fixed them, and broke them again. And honestly, I spent more hours than I want to admit just figuring this out, like on the verge of tears, wanting to rip my hair out. The thing is, now I'm a systems person in a $25 million business. And that didn't happen because I faked confidence. It happened because I became really good at one thing, and that gave me the confidence to gain the respect of everyone at my company. Listen, you can do every single one of the 4 moves I just gave you, but honestly, none of them work if you skip this last one. And it's by far the most important. In 1967, a psychologist turned the entire field of psychology upside down. Up until then, every psychologist assumed feelings drove behavior. You feel confident, and then you act confident. If you feel respected, then you walk like someone who's respected. But he said it works the other way around. He called this the self-perception theory, and he explained it in a simple sentence. We are what we do. Your brain doesn't actually know who you are, so it watches your actions and creates your identity from them. So when you act like the person you want to be before you feel like that person, your brain watches and goes, I guess this is who we are now. This is the foundation that makes the other 4 moves matter. You could admit that you don't know, ask for help, walk away from disrespect, and master a skill. But if you walk into a room thinking you don't deserve to be there, people will feel it, and they'll treat you exactly the way that you believe you should be treated. People are like mirrors that reflect the energy that you bring. So your boss won't respect your time if you don't respect it. Your partner won't respect your boundaries if you don't respect them. Now, I do want to be clear, this isn't the same as fake it till you make it. This is putting the effect onto becoming the person you want to be in the first place and letting your actions show your brain who you really are. So here's how you're going to do this. First, sit down and write a list of things you've already done that you're genuinely proud of. It doesn't matter how small. It could be the time you stood up for yourself in a tough conversation, or a class you finished even when it was hard, or it could be your latest squat record. Literally anything that proves to your brain that you're capable. Then create a list of things you'd be proud of doing if you did them. When you have your list, pick one thing this week the person you want to be would obviously do. Something you've been avoiding because you don't feel ready, like asking for a raise, cutting off a toxic friend, or sending an application for your dream job. And when you start to doubt if you should do it, read everything in your first list. This will remind your brain that you're capable of doing things, and the anxiety will stop. Then do another thing this week and the week after that. With time, your brain will start to understand that you're a confident person, and you'll start acting like that. And believe me, everyone will notice. Those are the 5 things you can do right now to gain more respect. But there's one more thing I didn't mention. You see, people don't respect people who are on their level. They respect people who are clearly ahead of them. And right now, the single biggest opportunity to get ahead of 99% of people is AI. Most people are scared of it, confused, or just pretend to understand it. But the people who actually learn how to use AI right now aren't just going to save a few hours a week. They're going to skip 5 years of climbing the corporate ladder, build the businesses that replace their jobs, and walk into rooms that skills nobody else has. I made this video showing you how to get ahead of 99% of people using AI. Click the video right now, and I will see you in the next one.